It's like the first day in like 6 days, technically. I think that we're not playing any Death Stranding 2. The plan, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 1,000,000% sure, but I'm pretty sure that we can finish this arc tonight. Kageboushi. In my head, whenever I think about it, I always just say Kage for short. Kageboushi, Kagebushi, Kageboshi. Uh, I'm pretty sure we can finish this tonight, and then if that goes quickly, then we'll switch to something else. That something else is probably just gonna be a little bit of Toem, or maybe a little bit of Yakuza. But if this is like 2 hours or so, however long maybe, then we'll just call that a stream and be on our ways. Death Stranding will return tomorrow, though, regardless of the outcome of this. The withdrawal symptoms would start showing up if, because then I wouldn't be playing, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh man, it'd be tough. Too tough. So let's see. The last stream, crazy shit happened, as it tends to do. Natsumi was scooped up after her doing her things at her house, her family's house. She was scooped up, admitted to a hospital. They were saying things like, okay, that she was asked about her, maybe lightly interrogated about the events, and she was basically giving off the impression that she had no idea what they were asking her, as if almost she had two different personalities, or at the very least how you describe like someone having like locking away certain memories or actions to kind of protect themselves in a psychological way. And of course there was some incredulousness about the, I forget who it was, maybe Oishi, maybe Akasaka was like, that sounds so crazy. And it's like, it could sometimes be a thing. And they're like, well, what do we do about that? And I'm pretty sure, if it hasn't been explicitly stated, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to carry on to the fact that because Tomoe died, and one of her last wishes that were voiced to someone like Akasaka, who Akasaka really likes Tomoe, obviously, and her death, fucked him up a bit. One of her last wishes was like, I want to protect this Natsumi person. So I assume, with whatever power Akasaka can have and wield, he's trying to carry that and take on that wish for Tomoe as best as he can. So I kind of gave it some shit. But, like, what ended up happening was she went in the hospital. She went to, like, Natsumi went to the restroom, I think it was, and then met up with the other girl that had been sometimes name dropped that went through something similar, I think with, like, a hunting gun rifle or something, and basically did the thing of like, oh, you want to go ape shit crazy? You want to go a little mad? Why don't you just fucking escape right now? And Natsumi was like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. And so just let the murderer escape. As far as I understand, she just left. And then they were like, where'd she go? And I think that's around where we kind of ended. Kind of a wild sequence of events. Last stream of this, I'm going to be 100% honest. To the murdering, to the way it was displayed and portrayed, I guess I should more likely say. To like how that, her just getting out. just leaving. Just making her grand escape. Alright, here we go. Let's try to finish this. The same day, Saiki General Hospital. I didn't have great memories of this hospital rooftop. The sunset sky was surely beautiful. I could hear the cry of the Higurashi off in the distance, and the soft wind washed away all my thoughts as it blew across my cheeks, leaving me content. However... Sis! Thanks to this lovely scenery, couldn't help but think back to that time. To the girl who was always following me around. We sure talked about a lot of things sitting on this bench, didn't we? Oh yeah, there was reference to another girl when someone was talking to Chisato kind of thing. So I assume that's what we're getting here? I gently caressed the bench. Paint was peeling off due to weather exposure. As I sat my crutches down next to the bench, I thought back to the old days. Nobody would believe it, but originally, I didn't enjoy being such an extrovert. Sitting somewhere quiet seemed like a better way to rest and relax. The reason I decided to try and get better at talking with others was because I was able to make her laugh. She was such a good listener. She always listened carefully, and she laughed so much when I finished my stories. That's why I put in the effort to get better at talking to other people. Really, I loved it. She was so honest, so cheerful, and she always believed in me. A little sister, Kaori. I'd give anything just to see her smile. I believed that I could do anything if it would make her happy. But I betrayed that trust. For all the things I said and thought in my heart, when it came time to act, I hesitated to keep my word. Who are they calling Chi-chan the high-spirited? Idiot. When I thought back on it, convincing myself that I took immediate action was a downright lie. Deep down, I was an indecisive coward. Really, it's ironic. Even though she was born into a doctor's family, nobody noticed that Kaori had a serious illness until her condition progressed to life-threatening levels. The fact that she was so patient and tolerant might have worked against her, too. At any rate, Kaori suddenly collapsed one day and was brought in for an examination. Then the doctors gave us the worst possible prognosis. However, there was still a way to save her. Indeed, there was still something we could do for her. Transplanting? My bone marrow?
Ah.
Yes.
父さんと母さんは不適合だが、お前なら血液の HLA が香りの方と同じでドナーになれるんだ。
Your mother and I are unable to do so because we don't match, but your blood is an HLA match for Kaori, so you're able to become a donor.
香りのためにやってくれるな。
Are you willing to do this for Kaori?
大丈夫だ。
It'll be fine.
お前と香りの手術にはうちの病院でも一番信頼のおける医師にやらせる。
For both you and Kaori, I'll have my most trusted surgeons at the hospital handle the procedure.
お前の体には何のマイナス要素も残さないよ。
It won't have any negative effects on your body. Dad tried to encourage me, but I was still young. I was terrified of what would happen if they cut me open. I was scared out of my mind. Plus, I was the daughter of the hospital director, so I had seen my fair share of material about medical accidents in the news. Even if it was Kaori, even in our own hospital, as long as there was a non-zero chance of failure, I couldn't bring myself to say yes right then and there. I said that I needed time to think, and I avoided giving them an immediate answer. Unfortunately, Kaori's health suddenly worsened immediately after that. They rushed to prepare for transplant surgery, but by then, it was already too late. There was nothing left to do. When Kaori held my hand between both of her little hands, I felt like my hand was being crushed by a mountain of guilt and regret. Damn. And then... Sis... When I get out of this hospital, I hope you and I can share a cake together. Those were her last words. After that, she wouldn't reply, no matter how much I called out. Her little hands were still firmly wrapped around my hand and never moved again. Doctor! I'll do anything! She can have my blood or my heart. Take anything you need. Man, this is sad. So please bring Kaori back. Please. Please. I desperately cried out of the doctor standing beside me and clung to them, not caring who it was. I knew that it was already too late, but I just didn't want to admit it. Even after we laid Kaori to rest, I never stopped apologizing to her. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. No matter how much I begged for forgiveness, I knew I'd never be forgiven, and I knew there was nothing I could do to make up for this. A moment of hesitation created an eternity of regret, and for the longest time I was unable to accept that. So, I directed my burning anger and hatred toward the doctors and my parents, who couldn't do anything to help Kaori. If only they had noticed Kaori's condition earlier. If only they tried harder to encourage me to go along with the operation. Then I wouldn't have made the wrong decision, and Kaori wouldn't have died. Thanks to that, I lashed out around me with selfish behavior for a while to clear up the melancholy in my raging heart. Rage I could hardly believe looking back on it now. The arrogant and cruel daughter of the hospital director. That's who I was back then. From the bottom of my heart, I believed that this absurd world and this fate were miserable, detestable, and depressing. I understood the truth, though. Honestly, the mistake was all mine, and I just refused to accept it. Tomoko and Akira were probably the only ones who knew the truth. If I hadn't met Momori-senpai and hadn't been admonished by my parents so many times, there's no way I could have crawled up from the bottom of that abyss. It's been 6 years since then. I gently touched the handrail on the iron fence. Back then, I couldn't reach it even if I held my hand all the way out. But now, I'm even able to rest my elbow on it. Even so, still felt like it was only yesterday, like time hadn't advanced at all for me. Indeed, I was still as indecisive as ever. Even though I knew it was pointless, I thought back. The moment I learned that Natsumi was from Hinamizawa, I should have offered her a helping hand. But in the end, I couldn't do it. If I had done that, Natsumi might not have been driven so far over the edge. Even when she attacked me in front of the care center, if I had told the detectives immediately that Natsumi was the attacker, she wouldn't have been arrested before she had the chance to cause that tragic incident at home. It was all because I took too long to make a decision. It was unmistakably me, her friend, who drove her into that misery. Her friend, huh? Then, what could I do for her as a friend? From then on, I kept thinking about that. In the first place, what does it mean to be kind as a friend? To create a fun and happy space? To lend a hand when you're in trouble? In that case, probably should have done that for her. Of course, it might be ridiculously conceited of me to think that. Still, if I was lacking something as a friend, then what in the world was it? Just how much did I have to do to become her friend? That doesn't sound right. Is becoming a friend something you consciously attempt to do in the first place? Doesn't it just happen on its own when you come to an understanding and feel comfortable with someone else? If you like each other and understand each other, then naturally... Ah, I see. I understood. I finally understood. Though it might already be too late, I realized what I was lacking. In the end, I like to believe I knew her, but I never put in the effort to get to know her even better. Though it's all too late by this point. But, huh? The next moment, I heard the loud echo of the roof access door being opened. Oh no, is it gonna be Natsumi coming to murder her? Oh god, this is sad. Looking back to see who it was, I instantly froze. Standing right there was... Oh. Natsumi? No doubt, the person standing there was Natsumi Kimiyoshi. I thought this was gonna be a happy ending arc. I thought that we were told and guaranteed this was an answers arc and we were gonna get a nice resolution. I assumed wrong. Natsumi, why? Why did she come here? No. How was she able to come here? I began to throw those natural questions toward Natsumi. Then, slowly, Natsumi had a cold expression as she slowly approached with her right hand hidden behind her back, then lifted it above her head. In her hand, she was holding a dimly glinting knife. Natsumi? Natsumi let out a terrible laugh as she locked the door behind her with her other hand. The rooftop door was different from the other rooms. It required a key to open from inside. I was told the key was recently lost and they were still waiting to receive a spare. That meant this rooftop was essentially a closed room. Oh, closed room murder, potentially, you say. Time to get Battler on the scene. I see. Natsumi felt animosity for her family, who gave her the shackles and the sin known as Hinamizawa, and for me, who she believed was trying to take away the man she loved, Akira, all the while knowing about her Hinamizawan heritage. Natsumi herself eliminated her parents and grandmother the other day. In other words, I was the only one left. What's wrong? Aren't you going to run away? Aren't you going to call for help? Where would I run away to? And who would I ask for help? With cold sweat dripping down my entire body, I answered with a bitter smile. I felt a shocking lack of danger. Perhaps somewhere in my heart, I had been expecting this to happen. You don't look surprised. That I've come here to kill you, I mean. Then, I assume you know why. I mean, there's no way this can end happily, because this guy has to end one of, like, 2.5 ways. It's like, Natsumi gets to murdering here another person. She's already murdered people, so that's already not good. She escapes. She gets to do her murder again. They don't catch her. Or, they're about to catch her. The best case scenario that I could totally see happening is somehow someone else gets up here, or Shisato is able to talk her out of it. But even then, it's not great still. Still murdered her family. Still not in a good mental condition. It's all fucked. I feel partly responsible for driving you so far off the edge. So I'm not okay with the idea of you killing me, but I can understand why. I like that. I totally know why you want to kill me, but please don't, basically. However, if you'll allow me to ask, just what are you planning to do after you kill me? Who knows? I haven't thought that far ahead. You say far ahead, but no matter how you calculate it, the future's not even 10 minutes away. It's right now. Shut up! The birds standing on the fence scattered when they heard that shout, and the Higurashi fell silent for a moment. Natsumi suddenly bore her fangs as she cried out in anger. But why? Unlike before, I didn't feel an ounce of fear. Was it because I was prepared to pay for my sins? Was it because I had chosen to walk down the road to oblivion together with her? Sorry, but that's wrong. Right, that's my answer. I won't run away anymore. I've had enough of flinching and hesitating only to be left with a lifetime of regret like I did with Kaori. If this is my fate, I'll have to accept it as it is. I was prepared for that, so even when faced with this vastly different Natsumi, I wasn't afraid. You betrayed me.
友達だって信じてたのに裏切って東堂君との仲を邪魔しようとした。
I believed that you were my friend, but you betrayed me and tried to sabotage my relationship with Toto-kun.
そして私のことを警察に売った。
And you sold me out to the police.
許せない許せない。
That's unforgivable. Unforgivable! Certainly, there was no point arguing the latter. When I told the police about Natsumi's attack, they went to investigate, and they arrived on the scene right as she murdered her parents, so they apprehended her before she had an opportunity to escape. So maybe, if I'd kept quiet, she might have been able to conceal the crime of killing her parents. But even if she was able to hide it, what future did she have after that? No matter how hard she tried to maintain the lie, it would be impossible to keep the truth hidden forever. So, in the end, Natsumi's criticism was probably misplaced. But she had a selfish mindset, wanting to push the blame for her current situation onto someone.
どうしたの？
What's wrong?
自分の罪の重さに声も出ない？
Are you feeling so guilty you can't even speak?
怖さに涙も出ない？
So scared you can't even cry?
でももう遅いんだから。
It's already too late though.
いくら謝ったって自分の罪の重さを悔やんだとしても私はお前を絶対に許さない。
No matter how much you apologize and repent under the weight of your sins, I will never forgive you.
誰が謝るかこのボケ。
Who the hell would apologize, moron?
頭冷やして出直してきやがれ。
You should go cool off and come back later. Damn. Get her. Surprised. Natsumi's eyes opened wide for a moment, but she quickly recovered her original coldness. Nevertheless, a faintly unpleasant look appeared on her face. It was clear she hadn't expected me to talk back.
私があんたを裏切った。
You think I betrayed you?
その言葉、そっくりそのままお返しするよ。
Turn those words right back on you.
先に裏切ったのはあんたの方だろ、夏美。
You're the one who betrayed us first, Natsumi.
南沢の出身だってことを隠して、こそこそうじうじしててさ。
Keeping the fact that you are from Hinamazawa hidden, sneaking around, never making up your mind.
見ていて気分悪かったよ。
It made me sick just watching it.
下手な嘘つき続けて、悲劇のヒロインごっこで酔ってんじゃないよ、この読書オタク。
Quit telling those crappy lies and getting drunk on the notion you're some sort of tragic heroine, you bookworm. Oh, we're throwing the insult names at each other. Let's go. What? Yeah, that's right. I'll resign myself to my fate. I won't hesitate. But I need to fulfill my obligations as a friend, at least at the very end. So I turned to Natsumi.
だいたいね、出身がどうので差別されるなんて話、一体いつの戦争前の話だよ。
Besides, facing discrimination for where you lived? What century do you think we're in?
悪いけど、私は大災害とかが起きるまで、南沢なんてところ全然知らなかったし、興味もなかったよ。
I'm sorry, but I didn't know anything about the Hinamazawa place until the disaster struck, and I wasn't interested.
だって私はこの町で生まれて育ったんだから。
Because I was born and raised in this town.
なのに、私の町の自慢しただけで田舎者だってバカにしただのどうのって。
And yet you get in your head that I look down on country folk just because I boast about my town?
自分の町を自慢してどこが悪い？
What's wrong with being proud of your own town?
バカにされたって思うのはあんたのコンプレックスだろ？
Your own sense of inferiority drove you to believe I was making a fool of you.
悲願で言いがかりつけてんじゃないよ、このタコ。
Enough with the persecution complex, you dumbass. Shut up!
どんなに言い訳しても、お前が東堂君のことで裏切ったのは事実だ。
No matter what excuse you make, it's a fact that you betrayed me about Toto-kun.
私を違う大学に行かせて、二人の間を裂こうとしたじゃないか。
You sent me to a different college because you were trying to split us apart, right?
はあ？
Excuse me?
しっかり思い出しな。美咲大を選んだのはあんただろ。
Use that brain of yours and remember, you chose Misaki University entirely on your own, didn't you?
陸王大も紹介したけど、今の実力じゃ現役合格は難しいからって断念したのもあんたじゃない。
I suggested Rikuo University too, but you gave up on it because you thought you couldn't get in with your current grades.
とぼけるな！
Don't play dumb.
東堂君が理工大に行ってお前も一緒に行くって分かってたらすぐに断念したりするものか。
Taro-kun was going to Rikuo University, and you were going too. If you had told me, I wouldn't have given up so quickly.
私にそうさせるよう仕向けておいて
Drama, drama,
私に
drama.
責任を転嫁するな。
You manipulated me into doing that. You can't push that responsibility off on me.
ああ、それは偶然そうなったんだから仕方ないでしょ。
Ah, that only happened by chance. Couldn't be helped.
陸王大はそもそも私の昔からの第一志望なんだから。
Rikuo University has been my first choice for the longest time.
私、あんたに言わなかったっけ？
Didn't I tell you?
絶対言ったよ。私は覚えてる。
I'm certain I told you. I remember.
で、アキラが死亡したのは偶然だし、そもそもあいつの死亡って私のずっと後に提出したのよ。
And it was a coincidence that Akira applied there too. He submitted his application long after I did, okay?
むしろそれなら裏切ったのはアキラってことになるんじゃない？
In that case, wouldn't it be more accurate to say that Akira betrayed you?
嘘だ。
Hitting her with truth bombs right now. Liar!
お前が東堂君をそそのかしたんだ。
You seduced him.
は
Huh?
あ？なお一層にバカかあんたは。
Just how stupid can you even get?
この程度で動くような男ならこの先どうやってうまくやっていく気だよ。
If his heart were so easily swayed, how can you expect things to go well between you two in the future?
言っとくがね、地球上の約半分は女なんだよ。
In case you didn't know, half the people on the planet are women, alright?
どれだけあんたがアキラに目隠しして周りの女の子を遠ざけたとしても、その空いた隙間から誘惑かけるやつは山ほど出てくるさ。
No matter how much you try to cover his eyes and keep the other girls away, there will always be plenty of people out there to tempt him.
そんな状況になってもよそに行かないよう惚れさせておくのが彼女の最低の義務だろうが。
Even in those situations, it's your basic obligation as his girlfriend to ensure he doesn't fall prey to that, right?
この
You bitch!
どうした？
What's wrong?
頭きたんならかかっておいで。
If you're pissed off, then come right at. Before I could finish that sentence, Natsumi rushed at me with the kitchen knife in hand. My body stiffened for a moment, but still, she was acting out of an emotional outburst, so her movements were straightforward and easy to predict. I just barely moved my upper body to the side to evade her attack and tripped her with my leg. Natsumi stumbled forward, carried away by her sheer momentum. I staggered for a moment to regain my footing, but managed to maintain my position and turn around.
ほらほら、どうしたお兄さん。
Come on, you demon, what's wrong?
あんたの憎きちーちゃんはこっちだよ。
The Chi-chan you hate so much is right over here. Yeah. Natsumi rose to her feet in a fit of rage, then slashed with the kitchen knife 2-3 times in a wide arc. The tip grazed my clothes and left a red streak along my skin. However, that left her exposed, so I countered by grabbing her outstretched arm and used that force to send her flying. Then, she coughed when she struck the ground. I pulled her up by the collar and then used a judo throw to drop her to the ground. Holy shit, Chisato. Then, once more. After suffering the pain of being thrown to the ground 3 times, Natsumi finally loosened her grip on the knife. The moment I noticed that opportunity, I stomped on her wrist with all the strength of my entire body, then kicked the weapon as far away as I could.
なめんなよこら。
Don't underestimate me.
こっちとら今までそれなりに場数踏んできてんだ。
I have plenty of experience.
刃物振り回してきたって固まって動けなくなるとでも思ったか？
Did you think I'd freeze up just because you were swinging a knife around?
運動音痴のあんたが逆立ちしたって力で叶うと思うなよ。
Delicate person like you won't stand a chance. Pressing the attack with the momentum I built up, I pushed Natsumi down on her back and straddled her like a horse. Then, grabbed her by the collar again. Her eyes widened with pain and humiliation as she desperately struggled to escape my grip.
大体ね、何が裏切っただ？
Besides, what's all this crap about me betraying you?
友達じゃないだ。
That we're not friends?
あんたの言う信頼ってのは自分の言うことを何でもホイホイ聞いてくれる関係で、それを叶えてくれるやつが友達か。
This trust you go on about is like expecting someone to do whatever you ask. That's your definition of a friend?
だったらおあいにくさまだね。
Then I hate to break it to you.
私は気に入らない頼みは遠慮なくお断りする正直者で、文句だって手だっていくらでも出す性分さ。
I'm an honest person who won't hesitate to turn down any favors I don't like, who will throw down complaints and opinions anytime.
それから自分の期待通りのものが返ってこなかったからって怒るのは結構だけどさ、それじゃああんたは私たちに何をしてくれたよ。
Also, it's fine for you to get mad when things don't go your way. But then, what did you do for us?
どんなことでお返しをしてくれたの？
What did you do to repay us?
言える？
Can you say you did?
言えないでしょ。
You can't, can you?
言いたいことも言わず、自分ばっかりいい子気取っていい思いして、私たちのことは知らんぷりなんて、それで友達かよ。
You never told us what was truly on your mind, played the good girl for your own satisfaction, and feigned ignorance around us. Is that what you call a friend? Huh?
お前に
What are you?
お前に私の何がわかるって言うんだ。
What do you even know about me? There we go. The old woe is me habit. That she brings up specious circumstances as an excuse to put herself on a pedestal and disregard the people around her. Question mark. Alright, if it's come to this, I'll tell her how I honestly feel.
ああ、わからないさ。
Yeah, I don't know you.
わかりたくもないね。
I don't want to know.
あんたの田舎じゃあうんの呼吸で思いが通じ合えるのかもしれないけどね。あいにく私は超能力者でも心理学者でもないんだ。
This is a very funny line. Maybe out in that country of yours, you can tell what everyone else is thinking through harmonizing. But unfortunately for you, I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not psychic.
言葉にしてくれなきゃ伝わらないし、あんたの気持ちもさっぱりわかりゃしないんだよ。
Unless you directly tell me how you feel, I'll never understand.
そんな風に甘え根性だから、あんたはいつまで経っても田舎者で、この町じゃよそ者扱いなんだ。
It's because you always depend on others like that. That's why you'll always be treated like a country bumpkin and an outsider in this town no matter how much time passes.
お前は
That moment, Natsumi sunk her teeth deep into my hand. Frightened, I pulled my hand back, only for her to aim for my forehead and headbutt me. In the moment I was dazed by that strike, Natsumi pushed me away. Then, when I managed to scramble to my feet, I saw Natsumi off in the distance picking up the knife that I kicked away earlier. And then, she turned toward me with her rage flaring up brighter than before.
ありゃあできんじゃん。さすが田舎育ち。
So, you really can do it if you try. Just what I'd expect from someone who grew up in the country. I wiped away the sweat running down my forehead with the back of my hand. When I looked at the sleeve on my pajamas, I noticed it was covered in reddish black spots. Apparently, I've been fighting so hard that I reopened the wound, the blood now mixing with my sweat.
まったく、何の人気映画だよ。
Seriously, what gangster movie have I found myself in? Though, those usually result in many manly fist fights. Come to think of it, I don't think I've seen many of those fights between two girls. I grabbed one of the crutches I had set down next to the bench and held it up with both hands to block the knife. When Natsumi saw that, she pulled back for a moment to assess the situation, but shortly thereafter, she let out a bold laugh with a twisted expression on her face.
何がおかしいのさ。
Ooh, what's so funny?
やっぱりだ。
Just as I thought.
やっぱりお前は嘘つきだ。
You're a liar, after all.
こんな風に殴って投げ飛ばして痛めつけたくなるくらい私のことを嫌ってたくせに。
You're willing to hit me and throw me around. You hate me so much. You hate me so much that you want to hurt me.
今までよくも友達を語ってくれたな。
So how dare you pretend to be my friend all this time?
ああそうかい。
Oh, is that right?
勝手に思う分は自由さ。
You're free to think whatever the hell you want.
けどそれならあんたはどうなのよ。
But then, what about you?
友達だと思ってたくせによくもその相手に刃物振り回せるもんだね。
Even though I thought we were friends, here you are swinging a knife at me.
友達なものか。
You think we're friends?
お前なんか嫌いだ。
I hate
嫌いだ。
I hate you. Despise you.
初めて会った時からずっと嫌いだった。
I've hated you ever since we first met.
また矛盾したことを言いやがって。
The things you're saying don't add up.
そんなに嫌いならなんで最初話に乗ってきた。
If you hated me so much, why did you talk to me in the first place?
私を拒んだりしなかった。
Why didn't you reject me right away?
あんたもともと一人が大好きだったんだろ。
You used to love being alone, didn't you?
最初から嫌がってりゃ望み通りにしてやったのになんでさ。
I would have left you alone just like you wanted if you turned me away from the start, so why? Shut up!
これで分かったでしょ夏美。
You get it now, Natsumi?
私も大概だけどあんたも十分嘘つきさ。
Maybe you're right about me, but you're just as much of a liar.
自分を偽って勝手に事実をでっち上げて。
Lying to yourself, making up facts as it suits you.
ほんと頭にくるくらい昔の私にそっくりだよ。
It seriously pisses me off how much you're like your old self, or like my old self.
嘘だ。嘘だ。
Liar, liar.
何もかも恵まれてるお前と私のどこが似ているって言うんだ。
How can you say you're the same as me? You've been blessed with everything.
恵まれてるだ。
Blessed?
なら聞くがね。あんたは本当の絶望ってやつを味わったことがあるか。
Fine. Then let me ask you this. Have you ever tasted true despair?
どんなに言い訳してもやり直せない。
Where no matter what excuses you make, you can never take back what you've done?
元に戻らない。
Where you can't put things back the way they used to be?
それを後悔して何もかもが嫌になって。
Where you're tormented by regret and come to hate everything?
それでも終わりにできない辛さをあんたは知ってるのか。
Yet the pain never ends? Do you know that?
いいじゃない。綺麗事だって。
So what if they're pretty words?
いつか死ぬ直前になって自分の記憶の中を真っ黒に塗りつぶしたくなるような思いをするくらいならずっとそっちの方がマシよ。
We don't want to look back on our memories on the day we die and feel the need to paint over them in black.
やってみたこともやってみようとも思わなかったあなたにそんなこと言わせない。言われたくない。
I won't let you say things like that when you haven't tried, or even thought about trying. I don't want to hear it from you.
私が味わった地獄まで否定するな。
Don't deny the hell that I've tasted. Why? How could I hear that detective's voice in a place like this? I can see it all over the girl in front of me. It looks just like the detective's face back then.
どう。
How about it?
知らないでしょ。
You don't know, do you?
知ってるわけがない。
You couldn't possibly know.
だってあんたは失敗を隠そうとしてさらに失敗を重ねてごまかしてきただけなんだから。
Because you just try to hide your mistakes and keep making more, playing it off each time.
今回のように。
Just like right now.
それで借金に借金を重ねて払いきれなくなったから自己破産か。
You kept taking loan after loan, and now that you can't pay them back, you're trying to bankrupt yourself?
すべての負債をぶっ壊してチャラにする気か。
Are you trying to get even? Are you trying to get even by destroying all your debts?
これで分かったでしょ。
Do you get it now?
つまりあんたの狂気ってのはただの責任転嫁の産物なんだよ。
I'm saying that your madness is all thanks to you avoiding your responsibilities. Natsumi pushed forward. I continued using the crutches to parry her attacks, which would prove fatal if I wasn't careful. Of course, I abstained from attacking her myself as it would be far too risky, but I couldn't afford to say much to her either.
くそ、 すがにクラクラするな。
Shit, I'm starting to feel dizzy. The blood loss is finally catching up to me. At this point, I might be stuck at this hospital a while longer. Though, it might be wishful thinking to believe I'll survive this as long as I'm hospitalized.
殺してやる。
I'll kill you.
お前はお前だけは絶対殺してやる。
Just you. I'm definitely, absolutely going to kill you.
ああ、殺したきゃ殺せ。
Fine, kill me if you want to.
それで終わりにするならね。
Then this will finally be over.
本当なら数日前に私はあんたに殺されてたんだ。
In reality, you killed me a few days ago.
それが1日2日伸びたからってどうってことないさ。
An extra 2 days doesn't make a difference.
この
You!
だけどあんた私を殺してその後どうするっての？
Even so, what will you do after you kill me?
気に入らない奴はみんな殺して自分の世界から追い出して。
Kill everyone you don't like? Drive them out of your world?
どこまで行ったらあんたの気は済むのさ。
How far will you go until you're satisfied?
あんたの理想の幸せってのは真っ暗な何にもない世界でたった一人でいることか。
The happiness you're pursuing will leave you all alone in an empty world of darkness. Asumi was startled by that. Her shoulders suddenly drooped. Then, with her eyes open wide, for a moment she stopped and loosened her grip. Hearing the word alone brought back memories. I defied the mysterious voice echoing in my head that had been ordering me to kill for a while now, and thought back to that time. Back then, I was certainly alone. My parents decided to transfer me without asking me what I wanted. They forced me into some high school without giving me a say in the matter and justified it by saying it's close to home. A place like a whole new world where all my efforts until that point meant nothing. The classwork was unreasonable, and the classmates had a completely different atmosphere. No matter where I looked, or how I thought about it, I felt completely out of place, like I was the only one who stuck out. It was depressing. It was hard. It was embarrassing. It felt empty. It was hard to breathe. But despite all that, from that day forward, I worked hard every day. I improved my grades, and even though I wasn't very good at dealing with other people, I managed to make some close friends. Being forced to start over in a new place meant building everything up from scratch, and that overwhelmed me with a dark, oppressive despair. What could I do? I was sick of it. I wanted things to get easier. The cold looks the other kids gave me when I called out to them, and the impatience and self-loathing I felt when I desperately tried to keep up with their conversations to respond appropriately. If it meant going through all that all over again, then I'd rather be alone. Plus, if someone can once again reduce all my effort to nothing in the end, wouldn't it be better to not bother right from the start? Just as I muttered all that to myself and was about to give up on everything, it happened.
何かお困りかね？転校生さん。
Do you need any help, transfer student? Eh?
や、こんちは。
Ah, hello.
今日もいい天気だね。
Nice weather we're having today. A girl suddenly came over to me and spoke in a friendly tone. Poofed. Ha 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 ha.
面白いね、あなた。
Interesting, aren't you? Huh?
あ、
Me? When she called me interesting, I was truly happy. That was the first time anyone said I was interesting. I always did my best to keep up with everyone, never thinking about what kind of person I wanted to be myself.
改めてはじめまして、私は牧村玉子。
Let's start over. I'm Tamako Makamura.
このクラスの学級委員長をやっています。
I'm this class's class president.
よろしくね、君吉さん。
Nice to meet you, Kimiyoshi-san.
私は佐伯千里。
I'm Chisato Saiki.
よろしくね。
Nice to meet you. And the moment they introduced themselves to me, when I thought we might be able to become friends, I was relieved. I was definitely happy. Right. That's right. Honestly, I hated being alone so much. For the longest time, even before I got sick, I always wanted to have someone there for me. But I was afraid of being betrayed, of losing them, so I lied to myself for so long. That's why I was afraid to trust anything. And then?
私もね、あなたと同じように絶望して何もかも信じられなくなったことがある。
Just like you, I lost myself to despair and refused to believe in anything.
たった一人で悩んで 苦しんで、どうして私だけがこんな目にって世の中全てを恨んだりもしたわ。
I struggled alone, I suffered, and I questioned why things only happened to me. I hated everything in the world.
でもね、
But you know,
何も信じられないのって本当に辛いことなの。
not being able to believe in anything is really painful.
疑えば疑うほど周りの人は私のことを信じてくれなくて、どんどん離れていく。
The more I doubted the people around me, the more they stopped believing in me, and it kept driving them away.
みんな
Everyone.
だからずっと自分が一人ぼっちで、寂しくて怖くて悲しくて。
That's why I felt alone, lonely, scared, and sad.
夏美さん、あなたは耐えられるの？
You think you can endure that, Natsumi-san?
私には耐えられなかった。
I couldn't endure it myself. Me too. I was just like that detective. Always unable to endure it. Just the thought of being alone made me feel sad and terrified. So, even if it hurt, I had to push myself. But it's already too late. After everything that's happened, things will never go back to the way they were. In that case, what can I do now? After selfishly going in a rampage, destroying everything in my path, what else could I do? I'm... Hesitation and indecision rose to Natsumi's agonized expression. Once I saw that, I was convinced. It's still not too late. She hasn't fallen so far into the darkness that she can never come back. If that's the case, I'll call her back. Even if that's impossible, at the very least, I'll turn her around.
あんたの夏美の気持ちは私にもわかる。
I wanted to make sure I read that correctly. Natsumi, I understand how you feel.
でもだったらなんでそこまで幸せになりたいならあんたは自分で努力しないの？
But if you want to be happy so badly, why aren't you working harder for it?
頑張らないの？
Why aren't you trying your hardest?
あんたにはそれができる力があるのに。
You have the power to do it.
私が望んでも手に入らないいいところいっぱい数えきれないほどあるのに。
Even though there are so many good things that I can't have no matter how much I want them.
どうして？
So why not? It may not have been very long, but for the two of us, it felt as long as everything that happened between us up until now. Then,
私だって。
even I... Finally, they broke loose. A warm glow shined in Natsumi's cold eyes. They began to fill with massive tears. The timid look on Natsumi's face looked completely different from the wicked expression she wore until a moment ago. However, even though I had no basis to think so, I was confident that the face in front of me was Natsumi's real face.
私だってずっと努力してきた。
Even I've been working hard all this time.
いろんなこと我慢して。おかしな人間だって、ひなみ様の犯罪者だって思われたくないから。みんなに合わせて従って。
Enduring all kinds of things, playing along and doing what others said, because I didn't want people to think I was crazy, that I was one of those dangerous criminals from Hinamizawa.
だけど、みんな分かってくれなかった。
But nobody would understand.
私にどんどんいろんなこと勝手にわけのわからない決めつけをかけて追い込んできて。
They kept piling more and more baseless prejudices on me for their own amusement, driving me to the edge.
辛かったのに。
It hurt.
本当に私辛かったのに。
Honestly, it hurt so much, and yet...
夏美。
Natsumi. That was the darkness the real Natsumi had been hiding all this time. The sadness and inferiority complex that triggered the accumulation of those dark emotions. She hated being from a rural town near Hinamizawa. She hated thinking that she was inferior to kids from the city, and those thoughts haunted her far too often. She was forced to suppress her wishes and aspirations. She continued to endure it. Right. She was always enduring something, and I'm sure she had had been ever since she was a little girl. Desperately trying to keep herself under control and fit in with her surroundings. Couldn't simply be dismissed as her having no self-confidence. Now I finally understood. This girl could no longer tell what was right. Even when it came to schoolwork, her values, or her identity in the city, people kept telling her way too many different things, and so she lost sight of her future, her aspirations, even who she was. In all of her efforts to figure out how to be normal like everyone else, she struggled and hesitated, and then it broke her. So, what she needed wasn't false kindness or consideration. It was to have a serious talk with her about what she was doing and what she wanted to do, then acknowledge those things, and occasionally point out her flaws and correct them while guiding her to the goal she'd found.
みんな助けてくれなかった。
Everyone refused to help me.
私何度も助けてほしいってお願いしたのに、みんなと同じになりたかったのに。
Even though I asked for help so many times, even though I wanted to be like everyone else.
ひなみさんのこと、家族のこと、どうすればいいかわかんなくなって。
I no longer knew what to do about Hinamizawa and my family.
だから私、こうするしかいい方法が思いつかなかった。
So I couldn't think of a better way of dealing with all this. I knew it, so I need to step forward. Right now, she's not just looking for some superficial notion of friendship. The one thing Natsumi truly needs is someone who can have a serious heart-to-heart with her. Someone she can truly open her heart to. In other words, a true.
あんたバカか。
Are you really that stupid?
辛かったんならやめちまえばよかったんでしょ。
It was so painful, you should have stopped. If it was so
一人で
painful.
考えるくらいなら吐き出せばよかったんじゃない。
If the alternative was thinking all by yourself, you really should have spoken up.
何のための友達よ。何のために私たちがいるんだよ。
That's what friends are for. That's what we're here for. The one thing Natsumi wanted most was for someone to simply acknowledge her existence. A friend, no. A true companion who could tell her plain and simple. It's like simple plan. Tell her plain and simple that there was nothing wrong with thinking for herself, for hesitating, for having a will of her own, that possessed the courage to make choices.
大体なんでそこで抱えるのよ。
Besides, why are you keeping it all in?
あんたのそれは努力なんかじゃない。
That's not what it means to give it everything you've got.
勝手に諦めてそこで立ち止まっただけじゃないの。
You just gave up on your own and stopped right there, that's all.
夏美、努力ってのは我慢じゃないんだよ。
Natsumi, endurance is not effort.
頑張るってのは気持ちを曲げることじゃないんだよ。
Giving it all you've got means never letting your feelings waver.
自分の思いを相手に分かってもらえるまで説得して理解してもらって。
Effort means persuading others and making them understand your own thoughts.
ちゃんと実現させることが努力だって言うんだよ。
And making them a reality. Yes, only now was I able to understand. Finally, I finally understood the true nature of what I'd failed to do for Natsumi. In a group, no one person can just talk about what they want non-stop. However, even so, if you just hold yourself back, go along with what others want, and keep your own desires locked away, all that awaits you is suffering. In that case, you have to persuade others. If you let them know what you want and understand what they want, then compromise, surely those wishes will become reality. And up until now, we haven't been doing that. Instead, we've been afraid of hurting others, and afraid they'll hurt us, avoiding the problem. But it'll be different now. To be a true friend, sometimes it's necessary to clash over your ideals. You may fight in the process, it may take a while before you're able to reach an understanding. However, by doing so, you'll surely be able to resolve all your doubts, reservations, and misunderstandings. Because friends who are able to share their true feelings become more precious than anything else.
夏美、
Natsumi. I tossed aside the crutches I had in my hands and walked over to Natsumi. Even if she went into another violent outburst, I didn't care. Don't come closer.
私さ、あんたにずっと悪いことしたって思ってた。
I've been doing wrong by you for so long.
あんたのことちゃんと理解して力を貸してあげられなくて。
I didn't understand you properly, nor could I help you.
でもさ、夏美、
But, Natsumi,
それはお互い様だよ。
that's true for both of us.
あんたも私たちのこと全然分かってくれてなかった。
You don't understand us at all either. Or you
力を
didn't.
貸してって頼ってくれなかった。
You never asked for help or relied on us.
だから私もうあんたに謝らない。
So, I won't apologize anymore.
だけど
However, after saying that, I walked up right in front of Natsumi, still holding that kitchen knife, and turned straight towards her.
その代わりさ、私これからはあんたにちゃんと向き合うよ。
In exchange, I'll face you properly from now on.
そしてちゃんと夏美の話を聞く。
Then, I'll listen to your problems properly.
その代わり夏美も私の話を聞いて。
And in exchange, listen to my problems too, Natsumi.
お願い。
Please.
だからさ、夏美、もう一度一緒に頑張ろうよ。
So, Natsumi, let's do our best together one more time.
もう私は絶対間違えない。
I swear, I won't screw up again.
あんたとずっと友達で、あんたのこといつまでもどこまでも信じ続ける。
I'll always be your friend, and I'll never stop believing in you.
だから私のことも信じてほしい。
So please, believe in me too.
ダメかな。
Is that so unreasonable? The rage in Natsumi until a moment ago began to diminish, and her shoulders started to droop. Then she faintly nodded to me. Seeing her like that, I held my slashed and battered hand out to her with all my might.
もう遅いよ。
It's already too late. Nevertheless, Natsumi looked at me with tears in her eyes and a sad smile as she said that.
私いっぱい大切な人を殺してしまった。
I've already killed so many of my loved ones.
お母さん、お父さん、おばあちゃん、
It's kind of a big deal, Natsumi.
3人になんて謝って償えばいいのかわかんないし。
Mom, Dad, Grandma, I don't know what I can do to atone for that.
それに言ったんだ。私が私じゃなくなってきて。
And I've been losing
頭
myself.
の中、もうむちゃくちゃだもん。
And I've been losing myself more and more. My head's a complete mess.
みんなを嫌って、憎んで、殺したいって気持ち、もう
I
抑
hate
えられない。
I hate everyone, and I can't hold back this urge to kill.
疲れちゃったの。私、
She's just like me, for real. I'm so tired of it. If that's the case, there's only one answer. What I couldn't do for Kaori back then, I'll do it now, without a moment of hesitation.
なら私も付き合うよ。
In that case, I'll go with you.
私あんたと一緒に地獄まで付き合ってあげる。
I'll go to hell and back together with you. Huh?
きっと友達ってのは
I'm sure that true friends
こうやって気持ちをぶつけ合えてやっと本物なんだよ。
are those who share their genuine feelings with each other, just like this.
殴り合いなんて本当は良くないんだろうけどさ。
Even though it's probably not good to actually beat each other up.
今なら私心の底から夏美のことを友達だって胸張って言えるよ。
Right now, I can say proudly, from the bottom of my heart, that you're my friend, Natsumi.
千里ちゃん
Chisato-chan?
一人じゃ寂しいんでしょ。
Isn't it lonely, doing everything on your own?
ならいいじゃん。
Then this should be alright.
もうあんた一人で背負う必要なんてない。
You don't need to shoulder everything on your own any longer.
一緒に落ちてあげるよ。
I'll go to hell with you.
さっきも言ったけど、本当なら数日前に亡くした命なんだからさ。
I said this earlier, but in reality, I actually died a few days ago, right?
私
I
私
was... Yeah, that's it, Natsumi. You won't have to despair alone. I failed just as much as you before this. If this is the result of that, then I'll gladly let karma have its way with me. So, you don't have to keep blaming yourself so much. If you want to reduce yourself to zero, I'll go with you. In exchange, when we next see each other again, let's be sure to. Interesting. I don't want to say I'm being slightly let down by how this seems to be wrapping up or ending, but I don't want to say I'm not. Exactly.
やめろ君吉
Stop, Kimiyoshi!
夏美さん
Natsumi-san! When Akira, Akasuka, and Oishi finally arrived, they found what looked like Chisato wrapped around Natsumi. Time came to a halt. Though the two of them were holding one another, they didn't move. Kasuka, Oishi, and Akira were crushed by the regret that they couldn't stop this tragedy. I mean, they did... I don't know. Alright, they just stared at the two of them, unable to even tremble. However... Huh? The knife fell from Natsumi's hands and clattered along the ground. On that dazingly bright blade, there were no traces of blood.
夏美、
Natsumi?
千里さん
Chisato-chan... Natsumi trembled as she slowly raised her hand. Her eyes, which were cloudy and empty until a while ago, began to glimmer and shine.
ごめんごめんね
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
思い出した思い出したよ
I remembered. I remembered. Huge tears began overflowing down her face. Oh,
初めて会った時からさとちゃんは優しかった
me when I murder? This is me when I murder? You've always been kind to me, Chisato-chan, ever since we first met.
私のこといつも気遣って心配してくれた
You've always cared about me and looked out for me. Why did I forget? Why? How could I think my precious friend hated me? She threw everything away from me, even her own life. Even as I fell into darkness and despair, she continued reaching out to me with no regard for the danger. She was my irreplaceable best friend.
夏美、
Ugh.
あんた
Natsumi, you...
それなのに私
Even so,
いろんなことがあって怖くて不安で何を信じていいのかわからなくなって
there were so many things I was scared and anxious about, and I no longer knew what to believe in.
ごめんなさいごめんなさいごめんなさい
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Natsumi pressed her face into Chisato's chest as more tears continued spilling out. While looking at that, Chisato realized that her precious friend, who she loved so much, had finally returned to her. Natsumi!
佐藤ちゃん
Chisato-chan. Cry noise. Welcome back, Natsumi. I'm here. Chisato-chan. The happiness the two of them shared blurred and mixed together. The cry of the Higurashi echoed through the sunset sky. Thinking of a friend shows true kindness. Thinking of a friend shows true kindness. And trying to face your hardships head on requires serious courage. It's not an easy thing to say. And even then, there's no guarantee that it will all lead to the truth and happiness. Even so, a single heart controlled by deep darkness was illuminated with a strong light, leaving that last step firmly in the present. Oh. Wait, that's it? It just... I mean, I don't know, man. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, God. Ooh. It's just so strange, because, like... Sure, they kind of wrap up nicely. And they realize, you know, each other's mistakes in this friendship. But, like, the ending is... She gets taken away because she murdered people. Her ass is still going to jail. I don't think... I truly don't think... Wait, I didn't get to read this. Oh, shit, I should have been reading this. Ruled her not guilty. Wait. No way. I missed a blip, but I just saw that they said not guilty. Even though she murdered 3 of her family members. Wait. No way. She gaslit, gatekeeped, girl bossed her way out of murder cases. No way! Damn it, I'm pissed that I missed, because I was just thinking it was going to be... Shit, I should have been paying attention. God. Here, I might actually be able to find... somewhere online. Or I could go to my own VOD, couldn't I? Let me see, I'm going to do some magic here. Okay, so it says... Okay, I found it. Is that it, then? Oh! Okay, wait on that. Let me read what it says. So yeah, Tomoe, died. Chisato Saiki, rescued on the Saiki General Hospital rooftop on July 7th, 1983, suffered minor injuries in a fight with the suspect. Then it says Natsumi Kimiyoshi, taken into custody from the Saiki General Hospital rooftop on July 7, 1983, later voluntarily turned herself in at Kageboushi Station and confessed to the Kimiyoshi family murders. Okay, so she confessed to the murder that everyone already knows she did. She was arrested the same day and transferred to a prefectural detention center on July 12th, pending trial. However, the investigation into Chisato Saiki's injuries ceased at the request of the victim herself. At her trial, the defense sympathetically argued that she was not responsible for her actions due to her mental illness. Oh! The court found the testimony of 2 psychiatrists to be credible. Thus, the court ruled her not guilty. The prosecution declined to file an appeal, so Natsumi Kimiyoshi was declared innocent after her first trial. Oh, the pleading insanity defense worked for our girl Natsumi Kimiyoshi. You know, that's something. That's something. You know what? Never mind. You know, even at the top of this stream, I was like, it's weird because I was painted and this was portrayed as an answers arc and, assumingly good things. It would be a good, happy ending. But no, Tomoe, dead. The Kimiyoshi family members to Natsumi, her direct relatives, dead. Murdered. by Natsumi. But she gets out, hands clean, not found guilty of the murders, and, you know, friendship repaired through the power of friendship. She gets through the murder trials. That's kind of wild. Man. I know I'm kind of clowning on it, but it seems kind of, it's just kind of a clunky ending. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Like, come on, man. Come on. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I guess I could have seen it from a mile away, because it was like, the last couple of streams leading up to this, it was the whole thing about how she was in the like, even just last Saturday, it was like, oh, she's taken in the hospital, and then she's being interrogated, and she was acting as if she had no idea that she had murdered her own family. And it's like, okay. Alright. Maybe I'm being too hard on it. I don't know. Let's just, what is this? What is this? Casca,
この道を進んで、それから
We're supposed to follow this road then.
あ、パパ
Oh, Papa!
あそこに地図が
Oh,
あ
it's
るよ
Miyuki. Isn't that a map over there? Miyuki pointed to a local directory as she said that. I compared the map with the directions written in the invitation and determined that we'd make it there if we just walked a little farther.
ゆきゆき
Yay! Snow! Snow! I guess Miyuki hasn't seen snow fall this thick very often. She's been playing in it since we left the station. This town didn't have many people coming and going, so the snow along the roadside was still fairly clean. It was a comfortable walk, and I felt a neat trail of footprints behind me as I went. Or I left, not felt. And I left a neat trail of footprints behind me as I went.
こらこらみゆき
Come on, Miyuki!
あんまり走り回ると危ないぞ
It's dangerous to run around too much, you know?
平気だも
I'll be okay! Whoa! Demolished. Miyuki answered vigorously, but she lost her footing shortly after and tumbled to the ground. Thankfully, she was wearing her raincoat, and since the ground was covered in soft snow, I didn't have to worry about her getting seriously hurt. But considering where we were headed, it didn't seem like proper behavior.
冷たい
So cold!
雪って面白いねパパ
Isn't snow interesting, Papa?
面白い
Interesting.
そうだな
I guess so. Really, you're the one that makes the snow interesting, Miyuki. Suddenly muttered in my head. Honestly, just looking at her smiling face warmed my heart. If I didn't have Miyuki in my life, how much worse would my life be?
今度休暇ができたらスキーにでも行こうか
How about we go skiing next time we're on vacation?
そうだ北海道はどうだい
Yeah, how about we go to Hokkaido?
大石さんもみゆきが行けばきっと喜んでくれるよ
I'm sure Oishi-san will be pleased to see you.
大石のおじいちゃん
Old man Oishi?
みゆきも会いたい
Yeah, I want to see him too.
楽しみにしてるねパパ
I'm looking forward to it, Papa. But considering my tireless work schedule, I had no idea when I'd be able to fulfill that promise. Still, I made a promise to Miyuki, so I'd have to do my best to follow through. Recently, she stopped asking when about these sorts of topics. Apparently, my in-laws told her it causes trouble when you ask that. She's a really smart, really kind girl. I'm disappointed that I have to spend so much time away from her. Oh, look at this new background. What, a little church? After walking for a while... Oh, is this... I have a feeling where this is heading. Alright, after walking for a while, we reached a larger road and were able to see a wider area around us. Then I spotted a small church off in the direction we were headed. Wow. Seeing the building covered in white snow gave it a majestic atmosphere. It gave me a pious feeling. Someone once told me that snow was the breath of God, gathering all the world's sorrows into heaven, then falling from the sky. So, this wedding was proof that God had forgiven our sin. I wanted to believe that.
赤坂さん
Oh, Kasuka-san!
こっちですこっち
Over here! Over here!
お
I turned toward the source of that voice and noticed two women standing in front of the gate, waving vigorously in my direction. For a moment, I wasn't sure who they were, but as I got closer, it all came back to me. I couldn't help but smile.
お久しぶりです
赤坂さん、
Long time no see, Kasuka-san.
来てくれてありがとうございます。
Thank you for coming.
ご無沙汰してます、佐伯さん。
It's been a while, Saiki-san.
まだ佐伯でよかったんでしょうか。
Oh, is it still alright for me to call you Saiki now?
ええ、どっちでも。
Sure, whichever.
なんでしたらエリザベスでもアントワネットでも私的には OK ですよ。
I'd even be okay if you called me Elizabeth or Antoinette in private, alright?
それは名前だ。名字じゃないっての。
You're aware that those are first names, not last names, right? So funny.
今日は遠路はるばる本当にありがとうございます。
Thank you very much for coming all the way out here today.
雪で電車とかが止まらないかってちょっと心配してました。
I was a little worried that the trains would stop running due to the snow.
ええ、早めに出て正解でしたよ。
Yeah, leaving early was the right call.
遅くなりましたが、今日はご招待いただきましてありがとうございます。
Oh, even though I'm a little late in saying this, thank you for the invitation.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. Miyuki followed my lead and bowed her head as she said that. When the two of them saw that, they shouted, "Cute!" in a shrill voice and crouched down to start talking to my daughter.
お二人とは会えますか？
Oh, would it be alright to see our two guests of honor?
ええ、まだ平気です。
Yeah, that should be fine.
今は新郎の方が走り回って大変みたいだから、先に新婦に会ってあげてください。
The groom is busy running errands at the moment, so you should go see the bride first.
わかりました。
Understood.
ああ、娘さんなら私たちが。
We can watch your little girl for now.
お名前なんていうの？
Can you tell me your name?
赤坂みゆきです。
I'm Yuki Akasuka.
えらいえらい。
Nicely done.
じゃあみゆきちゃん、お姉ちゃんたちとあっちで雪だるま作ろっか。
Well, Miyuki-chan, do you want to go make a snowman with us? Yay! After that exchange, the two of them walked to the garden with Miyuki. I thanked the two of them for taking care of her, then made my way to the church.
どうぞ。
Come in. I feel so bitter. They don't deserve a fucking wedding. Natsumi doesn't deserve a wedding. Also, isn't this background from Umineko? Is this the chandelier from Umineko I've seen so often in my life? I feel like I just see a chandelier and then I start going crazy and I'm like, this corner of this room and chandelier looks so similar. Maybe it's just similar position. Okay. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe just now I'm just so chandelier pilled. Maybe it's just I see any corner of a room in a chandelier arranged in this fashion, and I always think of Umineko. Not like it would have been a problem, I just found it very funny that immediately my brain said Umineko. I heard a gentle voice and a bell from inside the room beckoning me, so I opened the door. She was sitting alone by the windowsill, but as soon as she saw my face, she stood up with a bright smile.
赤坂さん、
Oh, Kasuka-san.
来てくださったんですか？
So you're able to come after all.
ええ。ご無沙汰して申し訳ありません。
Yes, sorry for not keeping in touch.
今日はご招待いただきありがとうございます。
Thank you for inviting me here today.
いや、おめでとうございます。
No, I guess I should be saying congratulations.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. Then she pointed to one of the empty chairs and said, "Please have a seat."
アキラくんももうすぐ戻ってくると思います。
I think Akira-kun will be back soon.
彼も赤坂さんには会いたがっていましたから。
He wanted to see you too, Akasuka-san.
それは嬉しいですね。
I'm glad to hear that.
あいにく大石さんはちょっと体調を崩されたらしくて。
Unfortunately, Oishi-san is feeling a little under the weather. Aw, poor Oishi.
と
Not
て
can't
も
make
残念が
it.
って言いました。
He's really sorry about that.
あなたたちにはくれぐれもよろしく。と
But,
ことつてを預かっています。
but, he asked me to give you all his best regards.
そうですか。
I see.
残念ですが仕方ないですよね。
That's unfortunate, but I suppose it can't be helped.
後でお手紙を送ります。
I'll send him a letter later. Letter later. Suddenly, Natsumi-san and I turned our eyes out the window at the same time and enjoyed the snowy scenery. From here, we could see Saiki-san and Tamako-san playing with Miyuki in the garden.
お子さんですか？
Is that your daughter?
え
Yes.
え、すみません。予定にはなかったのですが、どうしても一緒に行きたいと聞かなかったもので。
I'm sorry, I know she wasn't on the invitation, but she really wanted to come and wouldn't take no for an answer. Hello.
全然気にしないでください。
Haha, don't worry, I don't mind at all.
気にする人なんていませんから。
There aren't a lot of people here that would.
私の他には誰が？
So, who else is here besides me?
式の参列者は千里ちゃんとたまこちゃんだけです。
Chisato-chan and Tamako-chan are attending.
あとはいません。
Aside from that, nobody?
あきらくんのご両親も彼が気を使って。
On account of my whole family being dead? You know, from the natural disaster that happened to me physically murdering the 3 family members closest to me? But we don't talk about that anymore. That's all been forgiven. It's okay. It's all good. Akira-kun's parents are also showing him consideration by not attending.
そうですか。
I see. I was able to understand what she was implying without asking any other details. Normally, the groom calls on the relatives to unite the family. However, there was nobody left in the bride's immediate family. That's so awkward. How did they put that? And the groom's relatives were probably already familiar with the bride's poor public reputation. Oh, God, it's so awkward. And of course, it would be difficult for the bride to call on her distant relatives, because anyone who came would be from Hinamizawa.
あきらくんたちは絶対に言えま
Oh,
せんけど、
God.
私知ってるんです。
Akira-kun and his family will never say it, but I know.
今日の式のことで私がご両親にご挨拶に伺う前、あきらくんご両親と絶縁寸前まで大喧嘩したんです。
Before Akira-kun introduced me to his parents in advance of the ceremony today, he got in a fight with them so bad they nearly cut ties with him altogether. Man, this wedding and marriage is starting off on a great note. This sounds promising for the future.
ずいぶん時間をかけて説得してくれたんですよ。
Took a long time to persuade them.
それもあきらくんだけじゃなく、千里ちゃんもたまこちゃんも必死になって駆けずり回って協力してくれて。
And not just Akira-kun. Chisato-chan and Tamako-chan have been desperately running around and helping out.
そうですか。
I see. About 5 years have passed since the incident. Natsumi Kimiyoshi voluntarily came to Kageboushi Station with her friends and turned herself in. In the subsequent trial, the result of her psychiatric examination came out. A doctor submitted a report stating that her judgment was impaired by her mental illness. You don't have to say this again. This game already... Come on now. Don't have to reinforce this. Thankfully, they were able to make great use of all the work Chief Inspector Minai put into researching her medication, so they were able to convince the prosecutors of her mental condition. Now, it's very funny because someone can listen to this, me and my problems with this last little bit, and then take it as me being like, me outwardly 100% saying that someone could not use mental impairment as like a slight excuse for something like cases and stuff, which I'm not trying to portray. That's not my intention. I'm saying as used as a defense in this story to get her out and seemingly get her happy ending, I feel is a little weak as a story, as a narrative block. But I'm just a hater, so it's whatever. But in real life... it's whatever. You know the day I decide to go postal one day, and I just decide I've fucking lost it, and I murder my whole family. You know, I'm gonna first attempt to try to say that it was I'm having mental problems. You know, that's gonna be my first defense. Beyond that, I got nothing. I can't. I should say for the record, I have no plans on murdering anyone, my family or anyone else, for legal reasons. That is not an intention or wish I have at all. Continuing. Plus, her friends offered testimony in her defense. As a result, Natsumi Kimiyoshi was declared not guilty in the eyes of the court. Even so, that by no means meant everything went back to normal. The fact that she committed murder and tried to hide it was permanently attached to Natsumi Kimiyoshi's reputation. It became impossible to live in her old town, so she moved to a distant, secluded town. I took too long on the disclaimer. And fortunately, she didn't move there alone. After that, Natsumi Kimiyoshi was admitted to a psychiatric hospital and given treatment so intense it was like being bled. The counseling, medication, and rehabilitation continued for several years. It goes without saying, she received a lot of support from her two friends and the groom, Akira Toto. I'm sure it wasn't smooth sailing. I can imagine all the hardships she must have suffered over the years. But even so, she did her best. And finally, she was able to meet him like this today.
少し前まで私ずっと死ぬことばかり考えていました。
Up until a short time ago, all I ever thought about was dying.
自分の家族を殺して自分の友達や恋人の人生めちゃくちゃにして
Killing my family, making a mess of the lives of my friends, and the man I loved.
私に生きてる資格はあるのかなって
I questioned if I truly deserved to be alive. Can you just, like, man, I know it's like a thing, but like, it's so, and she's admitting to how terrible her life is now, and like, even the narrative saying like, things didn't go to normal just because she got out of the murder trial thing. But like, to be someone who can readily be like, yep, I murdered my family, and I just gotta keep living my life, like, it's probably what OJ felt like. Just to get away with murder, man. What a wild, man. Crazy. That can just be a thing.
幸せになるなんてこと私には
But more than that, I felt I had no right to be happy.
君吉さん。
Kimiyoshi-san.
いや、
No. I quickly noticed my error and suddenly stopped myself. Then,
東堂夏美
oh, she was really happy to say that. Natsumi Todo.
この名前多分一生慣れないと思います
That name might take a lifetime to get used to.
だけど
However, then Natsumi Kimiyo Todo raised her head to look up at me. I could still see the grief and doubt in her expression, but even so, she smiled. At least, she tried to smile.
死ねませんよね
I can't die.
こんなにも私のことを大切に思ってくれる人がいて
Because there are people out there who care so much about me.
それなのに自分だけ楽な道を選ぶなんてこと絶対にできない
So, I can't choose to take the easy path. Absolutely not.
しちゃいけないと思います
I don't think that's an option.
だから私これ以上幸せにはなれなくてもいい
So, I don't care if I'll never be any happier than this.
だってもう今が幸せなんだから
Because I'm already happy right now.
その分誰かの私のことを思ってくれる人のために幸せのお手伝いをしたい
And for the people who care about me, I'd like to do what I can to make them happy. Also, this is just whatever. I'm entering full hater mode, and I'm gonna probably sound insensitive, potentially, to me saying this. And I know this is just a story, it's whatever. But would you 100% feel comfortable if you're Akira marrying Natsumi now at this point? Like, would you be comfortable with that? Even if you fully 100% believed and were under the impression that it was a mental issue. It was a mental issue, and she clearly, the game is portraying that she got 1,000,000% help. Like she had to go through like a bunch of like medication and psychiatric help and like rehabilitation, as I said. Like, would you be like, you know what? The person I want to wed right now, I know in the back of my mind, I'm always going to be thinking about the fact that she murdered her own, like, blood-related family. And no matter how much help that person gets, what the hell happens if something slips later down? I'm not trying to come across as, like, irredeemable piece of shit, Natsumi, can't ever be redeemed, and whatever. But it's just, like, part of me is just like, man, like, what's going through his mind? You know, like, that seems... I don't know if I could do that. Knowing even if she got away with it, and technically in the eyes of the law, she wasn't convicted of being a murderer. She murdered people. 3 people, in fact. That they know of. I don't know, man. I don't know. And I say all this not knowing... I don't know if Natsumi is a super popular character in the fandom. I'll never know, probably, until I do, like, my end of series, like, character tier list thing. And then inevitably I'll get a comment when I rank, like, Natsumi really low or something. It'll be Boat Guy version 2.0 all over again. It'll be like, no, actually, it's kind of fucked up, and he's a great character. Talk about real gaslighting. You know? Anyway, and for the people who care about me, I like to do what I can to make them happy.
今はそう思っています。
Right now, that's what I'm thinking about.
ええ、それでいいと思います。
Yes, I think that sounds good. I'm actually willing to bet that people's opinions of people that have read this or know of this character, I'm gonna say Natsumi is probably not that well liked, would be my guess. But that's only because I would say because it's like a extended console arc character. And I bet just I would bet moods and opinions on most of these new characters is just quite low in general. Yes, I think that sounds good.
あなたはまだ生きるべきなんです。
You should continue to live your life.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. As she listened to my words, Natsumi wiped the tears from her eyes. Then
伝えたかったな。
I wanted to tell her.
え
Huh?
私を強く励ましてくれたあの刑事さんに今の気持ちを。
I wanted to tell the detective who encouraged me so much how I feel right now. Too bad she's dead. Too bad she's dead. She doesn't get a happy ending.
それだけが私の心残りです。
That is my greatest regret. Oh my god, look at them. Yeah, Tomoe died. And her last words basically to people were like, man, I really hope I can help out Natsumi Kimiyoshi. She deserves to be happy. And then she goes on a murder rampage, ends up murdering her family, but ends up getting to have a happy ending. Kind of crazy. Did she kill Tomoe? No, I think it's heavily implied that someone related to the whole, God, why can't I remember her name? We're so far removed from it. Blonde-haired lady. I should just go back to calling her blonde-haired lady. Someone related to that whole faction. I think... Yeah, I think someone related to the whole Tokyo fashion ended up taking her out because she was getting obviously close into, like, deep into the investigation of the whole Hinamazawa case disaster thing. So because of that, that's at least how what I understood from that moment. It was kind of left ambiguous, but it definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't Natsumi. Natsumi didn't murder her. It was like it was just a random like moment. It's kind of crazy that it happened even. But yeah, Tomoe died. I'm led to believe, unless I'm wrong somewhere, that someone related to the Tokyo sect of people organization took her out, or the call was made. Maybe it was like, hey, let's, I don't know, hire a hitman or something and take her out. Later, a small ceremony was conducted in the chapel. The priest held the Bible in his hand as he delivered a speech. The only people watching were her two friends and my daughter and I. Man. You know what? I'm not even gonna throw shade. Small weddings are fine. Thinking about it, it's unfortunate why it's a small wedding. Thinking about it that way, it seemed like a lonely affair. Even so, I felt fortunate to be in attendance, as I could feel the happiness in the air cling to my entire body. Now, please exchange the rings and say your vows. After the priest's declaration, the groom looked nervous as he pulled out the ring. Then, he slid it onto her finger, as he swore to spend the rest of his life with her. Natsumi gazed into him in that moment. Was she afraid? Was she sad? She trembled in embarrassment, guilt, and excitement as she faintly began moving her mouth to speak.
Akira-kun.
Akira-kun. Still, Natsumi pushed herself to smile. For her love, who gently embraced her as she was, and for her friends who took her hand and always had her back. For the people who encouraged and supported her, she flashed them a genuine smile. Her world has changed. Still very cruel, but... Huh? There is still hope. I'm certain of that. Question mark? Miyuki was staring up at me with a vacant expression. I guess a day will come when I have to see this girl off too. When that day comes, I hope I can send her off with a smile. And when that day comes, I hope my daughter will have enough memories of happy days to be able to smile like this from the bottom of her heart. Yes, that's what I decided, as the warm sentiment of the two people in front of me carried through to me. Amazing. I will say, this arc did have some really good stretches. I will say for sure. Like I said, I'm not trying to sound like a hater here at the very end. At all. Some great characters, some great moments, some great stretches. For sure. Letter from Madoka. Letter. Greetings. How are you doing? Messed up. As usual, we're doing fine in this lovely weather. The people in this village were a little aloof when we first moved here, but we've become good friends now. A lot of people came to celebrate Kaoru-san's 60th birthday last month. Oh, that's right. Kaoru-san was really embarrassed about it, but we dressed him in a red Chanchenko jacket, like you do at a 60th birthday. I think that's close enough. I have jokingly told him it'll last a lifetime, right, when he put it on, but it actually looked pretty good on him. We had a good laugh about it. Try to send a picture next time, okay? I also packaged some fresh summer oranges along with this letter. You harvest them this year, so please enjoy them together. I finally become older than Sis was. It's a shame that my children never had an opportunity to call someone aunt. But surprisingly, turning 30 wasn't as bad as I expected. Does it upset you to hear that, Kasuga-san? These days, I've finally been able to stand over Sis's grave without crying. I originally wished that her grave was closer to Mom and Dad's, but now I'm starting to think bringing her grave over here was the right decision. Sis was always working her hardest, going forward at full power without taking a moment to breathe. But now that she's out here in the middle of this lovely nature, she finally has no choice but to rest. That's what I believe. Oh, but if there are police officers in heaven, maybe she's running around up there now. There better not be cops up in heaven, Jesus. Also, Akasuka-san, going forward, please don't blame yourself for what happened to Sis. I told Kura-chan the same thing too. It's not anybody's fault. Sis was just carrying out her duties, so it's wrong to blame anyone other than the culprit. It was the nature of her position. I want the two of you to understand that. Instead, if you could redirect those feelings towards solving other cases and keeping the perpetrators off the streets, that would make me happy. Sometimes, Kara-san claps his hands together and apologizes at her grave, saying that his inability to catch the culprit during his tenure at the station is his biggest regret. And each time I'd smack him as hard as I could. However, thanks to the hard work of Fujita-san and the rest of the team, they were finally able to catch the suspect last year. Oh, here we go. So I think Sis would be grateful to know that everyone did their best and refused to give up. So from now on, please do your best at work. My family and I pray that you become Superintendent General of the Metropolitan Police. Well, perhaps that's too much of a stretch, but we hope you reach a position close to it and continue working for world peace. So, please take care of yourself. Talk to you later. Madoka Yamaoki. Madoka gets a happy ending. I don't get a happy ending, though. Never a happy ending for me. I think there's one last bit we have to read. It's the last of the police case files. Little bit. Police case files. Ba 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 ba. Metropolitan Public Security 7th Room Case File Epilogue. Metropolitan Epilogue.
これだ。全部。
I guess that's everything. As I finished looking through the files, I let out a depressing sigh. After all, despite all the time I spent investigating, I'm still no closer to revealing the mysteries behind the great Hinamazawa disaster. And I'll soon be stepping away from investigating the mystery entirely.
情けない。
How pathetic. Even though I so enthusiastically swore I'd be able to accomplish it, this was the end result. Such a powerful start, but such an anticlimactic conclusion. I can't even muster a scornful smile.
すまない。リカちゃん。
I'm sorry, Rika-chan. I muttered one more apology to the girl who is no longer with us. If the incident hadn't happened back then, she probably would have grown to become a beautiful woman. And she could have been living a happy life with her family. Could have been a glorious future filled with endless possibilities. But no matter how many excuses I tried to make, I wasn't able to help her. A sad Nipa. I was too powerless, too insensitive to prevent that chain of tragedies. Of course, no amount of scathing self-loathing would ever be able to change anything. It was all over already. Hmm?
やっぱりここにいた。
Ah, so you're here after all.
探しましたよ、お父さん。
I've been looking for you, Dad.
あ、いえ、赤坂警視正。
I mean, Assistant Commissioner Akaska? I heard a light voice that sounded like a bell ringing through the darkness, turned towards its source. And the person I found standing there was my daughter, Miyuki.
もう、引き継ぎの業務は来週からって話でしょ?
I think I brought this up earlier, but it's kind of crazy that I ended up reading the order of these last 3 arcs in what seems to be a really good way, but when I re-looked at it recently, someone said to read, like, this arc second to last of, like, the 3 of the last that I've read. And that's kind of crazy, especially because the first one, or maybe 3, I don't know how to count, but basically the one that, like, the one we read back where it was like, oh, it had the guy, reporter man, and her, Miyuki, going out on their adventure to Hinamazawa after, like, the restrictions were, like, closed or whatever. Or shut down. That, like, whole arc thing. A lot of people say, I saw to read that. Yeah, that one. With, like, old Mion-Shion. A lot of people are saying to read that one after this one that we just read. But that would make it so that it reveals already that Like, we went through that whole arc not knowing Miyuki's identity, and the story meant to have her be ambiguous, and only at the end reveal that she was Akasuka's daughter. And it seems crazy to put that and read that after this, because then you'd be like, oh, I know this character, so that mystery is already solved. Like, it's... I don't know. I think I brought that up. I don't know if I actually put those words to the stream, but it is weird that, like, I was seeing conflicting with an order that I had established, like, months and months and months ago, other people online being like, no, read that after this. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Seems weird that you would... Like, Miyuki's identity is supposed to be shrouded in mystery, like, throughout that whole story. Anyway. Miyuki says, sheesh, I thought the transfer material didn't need to be ready until next week.
相変わらずワーカホリックだな。
You're as much of a workaholic as ever.
お医者さんにまた怒られちゃうよ。
The doctor's going to be upset, you know?
ああ、すまん。
Yeah. Sorry. I love Higurashi. So true. True Higurashi head. First time chat. Love to see it. I immediately apologized without thinking, but then I quickly noticed. This is the confidential office in the public security department. Shouldn't there be stricter security?
ってみゆき、どうやってここに入った？
Miyuki, how did you get in here?
部外者のお前は立ち入り禁止のはずだが。
This room is supposed to be off limits for outsiders. Yeah.
加納さんにお願いして入れてもらったの。
But I asked Kanoa-san, and he let me in.
何か問題が？
Is that a problem?
大ありだ。
Absolutely. The police department has very strict regulations. Even if she's my daughter, everyone involved will be strictly reprimanded for a violation of this kind. But, senpai, why would you willingly disobey that rule?
あれ？お父さんにはまだ連絡行ってなかった？
Huh? Has he not contacted you yet?
私来月から公安部に異動になったのよ。
I'm getting transferred to the public security division starting next month.
配属先はここ。第7室だって。
And I'll be stationed right here, in the 7th room.
Huh?
I foolishly raised my voice as I watched my daughter point her finger toward the ground. I was going to say that I'm not like a fan of Higurashi or anything, but then I was like, there's no way I could convincingly say that. Now, what, 100, almost 30 streams into reading Higurashi-related material? It'd be hard to convince anyone otherwise. I foolishly raised my voice as I watched my daughter point her finger toward the ground. This was the first I'd heard of it. How had I not heard anything about this personal assignment until now?
というわけですから、
Ah,
移動までの
back up.
短い期間、引き継ぎとご指導をよろ
Back
しく
up,
お願い
Miyuki.
します。
Thank you in advance for your support during our brief time working together.
どうぞお手柔らかに。
So, don't be too hard on me. Miyuki strained to muster a salute as she said that and flashed me a shameless smile. When I saw that, I knew exactly who was responsible for this.
やられた。
You really did it. This farce has been one last act of mischief from Kanoa-senpai. If I had a favorite character, who would it be? One single character from Higurashi? That's so tough. I mean, Rika is really good. Can't say shit. Right as I say Rika, then your comment comes in. Okay, can't say Rika. Give me... I don't know. I really love the spunkiness of Shion. I was really early on quite a fan of original Shion. So I'd probably, as basic as it probably sounds, again, I don't know much of the fandom, and I can only guess where allegiances mostly lie. But I would say probably, yeah, probably her. She was fun. Fun character. She's fun. Has no problem getting down and dirty, fucking doing some terrible shit. as we saw in a couple arcs. You know? Interesting backstory. Kind of cool. Has a man servant that follows her around. her own personal chauffeur. She's pretty cool. Imagining the grin on his face is nauseating.
何
What's wrong?
いや、なんでもない。
No, it's nothing. Still, even though she used to be such a cute little girl, she's getting stronger every year and cheekier. How on earth did she grow up to have so many of these odd quirks?
そりゃあ親が親ですから。
That's all on you, Dad.
私に言われても困ります。
Don't you go asking me.
こら、口にしていない言葉を先読みするんじゃない。
Hey, now, I haven't said anything yet.
だって顔がそう言ってるし。
Well, I can tell just by the look on your face. I don't know if we have met this character yet, but Mio is my personal favorite. Like Takano? Is that what you mean? Is that who you mean? Mio Takano? Blonde-haired lady? The lady I called blonde-haired lady for most of my playthrough? Yeah, we're done with all the main arcs. We are deep into console arc, exclusively only things. So pretty much anything character story beat you bring up would not be a spoiler of any sort. A Mio fan? Is Mio Takano a popular character? Again, I don't know. I refuse to dip into set general opinion. Rina's another good one. Even if Rina did murder her. Wait, wait, that's a popular character? What? Why would people like that character? Yeah, wait. Why she was such a nothing character? She had a brief little fling. She was a piece of shit. She was preying upon fucking the dad. Gets murdered. I didn't get like big impression. All right, well, I can tell just by the look on your face, Miyuki says. Hee. Hey.
あのな。
Now see here.
Oh.
Whoa! Rika jump scare. As I tried to muster a reply, a smiling face suddenly appeared before me. That was very funny how they layered that. Another face overlapped over my daughter's face and disappeared just as quickly. Indeed, something like this happened long ago. And that was the moment I decided I would stand up and fight to reveal the mysteries of Hinamizawa. Yes, that's right. It's not over yet. As long as I don't give up, as long as my will never gives out, the possibility of finding the truth will always be greater than 0. And even if I'm leaving this post halfway through, my own daughter, Miyuki, is coming here to take my place.
すまない、みゆき。
I'm sorry, Miyuki.
え?
Huh?
お前に相談したいことがある。
There's something I need to tell you.
大事な。多分お前にしかできない相談なんだ。
Something important that I can only discuss with you.
聞いてくれるか?
Will you listen to me? I want to believe in this fate. No, I will believe in it. I swore that in my heart as I turned to face her. You're putting that burden on your daughter? Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, dude. Man. Alright, Miki, you gotta solve this thing that I couldn't do. Man. Crazy. I mean, that character, at least she was fun. You know, it's that trope of like, hey, if you have a character that's written decently enough that you like love to hate kind of thing, then I could guess why people would be like, oh, that's a fun villain coded character. Her importance in the whole string of things just is such an interesting pull to hear someone be like, oh, that's one of my favorite characters, because like you think of like me, basic ass me, saying like, oh, I like Rika, of course, and you know, Shion because it's Shion. So hearing Rina is funny to me. Nothing beats Mion. Well, I just said Rika and Shion does. So, well, that's another arc down. That's another arc down. I think the next one, let me pull out my handy dandy list real quick. The next one we read is Toki Higurashi. Toki. Who is this character? I have no idea. We're another new character, perhaps? How exciting. I love the opportunity. I love the opportunity of new characters. How about Maria? Does she beat me on? No, see, you gotta understand. Now, in the world of Umineko and Higurashi, for me, the top of the tier list starts with Rika, and the very bottom is Maria and Boat Guy. Maria and Boat Guy are at the bottom of the character tier list, and then you have Rika at the top, looking down upon everyone else. That's how it goes. Oh, I was thinking about this. I was talking about this. I was just posting through this over the last few days because it was a thing. And I don't know where else to say this, but I think I mentioned on a stream. I was like, do I make a separate random video about it? Probably not, because it's not that big of a deal. But I only say this because it was something on top of my mind over the last few days, because it's in the news. And then I think on a previous stream at some point, like I hinted maybe a month ago, something around that time, I had made mention of a game that I was considering playing on stream. And after the news of the last like week about this game, I'm deciding I'm no longer going to be playing that game. And I've lost all interest in touching it. Not as like I'm not like a holier than thou type, declaration or anything. But after Death Stranding 2, a game I wanted to check out called The Altars has been out for a while. And when it released, it came out to pretty good reviews. And I was like, you know what? I'd be willing to check that out and shit. Over the last week, I don't need to go over the whole thing. You can look into it if you really care to. But it got basically caught in like this generative AI kerfluffle, for lack of a better term. And I've at this point, I feel it would be quite hypocritical, especially because I am so against that, and also have a pretty hardline stance against games that do it. It's funny because even like a few weeks ago, I went on a big rant on, I think, Blue Sky about just AI stuff in general. So I was like, oh, it really sucks, because I really kind of wanted to check that out. The Altars, yeah. And it was funny because I know at some point I was talking about it on stream, and then in my own head, like schedule wise, I was like, I definitely probably want to play that like after Death Stranding 2. But I was like, okay, after the events of that, I was just like, you know what? It's killed all the wind. So I'll move things around. I'm not going to. Not only is it like the generative AI assets and stuff, but then once getting caught, I'm not a fan of the response that they made, and it just seems like big excuse stuff that doesn't really sit well with me. And so it's like one of those things where I'm like, well, gotta stick to my guns kind of thing. So if you're ever like, damn, what are some games, Austin, that like you think you're gonna start playing and then end up falling through for whatever reasons? It's a hardcore example. I had full intention, and the best thing is that I didn't pull the trigger on like actually buying the game yet, because then I've been like, oh, it's really hard to just eat that kind of thing. Like, it's good that I don't like talk about committing to a game 100% and like buy too early. But I was like, shit, it sucks. Not great. And I only feel the need only because I was talking so much about it over the last like few days. And like I said, whatever your stance is about generative AI stuff in video games and the ever creeping presence of it, like, I have decided in general to a very hard line stance about it. If I had mentioned before, you might have played it and such, but then all this came out and you changed your mind, I really wouldn't have minded. Well, yeah, but like, it's the thing. It was like it's not only that it happened, but again, without getting too much into it, it's their response to it all that just sours me on it all. You know what I mean? Like, and then me personally, like, I wouldn't be able to like feel good about doing it when previously I have taken very hard, like, I'm very uninterested in playing games that use that kind of stuff for whatever they think is a justified excuse or whatever. Again, I don't buy their oh, I meant that that's why I don't commit to play this game. I see what you're saying. You're saying if I just put it out there, like I think I kind of hinted at previously and stuff, and yeah, no, that's totally good. Like, no, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, that's the thing why I was just giving just one small example about like, oh, I don't like talking. Also but I also for the other reasons of like scheduling, sometimes I like moving things around, and so I don't want to say I'm going to play something before I absolutely lock it in kind of thing. But it is one of the reasons where I'm like, oh, I'm just was glad that I didn't like fully 100% like I say, like I'm dead set. But yeah, it's just a fucking bummer. And like, it's just, man, I'm not going to, but I could just go on like this long rant about just how like in the video game space as like a hobby, how like I know I'm not the only person who probably feels this way. Again, other people can draw different lines at whatever. I'm not even here trying to preach that kind of thing. But like, for me, hardline stance, and like, it just like the fact that they did it and then they try to get away with it, and then they only say they did it because they got caught, and then they skirted away from disclosing it on like if you use it in your game on like the Steam art like store page, you have to disclose it, and they didn't. So they clearly knew that if they did disclose it, there would be backlash. Their reason for doing it doesn't really jive well with me. I don't buy their reasoning. They only say they did it because they got caught. And so it's just like, well, all this combined sours me on checking it out. So, and it's all a bummer. Like, in general, it shouldn't really matter, but it also, like, I'm like, like, it sucks. It sucks honestly, it sucks for the industry, and it sucks that, like, a lot of people, like I said, sentiment about it was good, and like, for a lot of people that don't care, people that don't have a problem with that, they still would have good sentiments about the game or whatever. But for me personally, I'm kind of annoyed that's like, people that would have had an issue with it were singing the praises of the game for weeks and weeks at its release, and then they're like, oh, well, this thing happened. It just feels gross. That's what it's just, yeah. Fuck. So, that's all to say. I know, I like I said, I think I hinted at it heavily in some random stream, like, a while back. And it would feel weird, potentially, just in the back of my head, I was thinking about it, especially over the last week when this is all coming out, where I was like, oh, I kind of, like, heavily implied that I would be checking that game out, especially after Death Stranding. again, I didn't feel the need it was like important. Now it is weird that I'm going on a rant at the end of a Higurashi stream. That's definitely weird. So I apologize about that. But like it was only over the last like really the last couple of days, and then me being like, oh yeah, I totally kind of like implied before that I might have checked that out. And that's definitely not happening at this point. So, but it might have been cool. The game itself, like I said, I heard a lot of good things about it, but I have no interest. I have no interest myself personally. Going that way, going that route. What was this comment I missed? Snap, I just realized I made a fan-made Higurashi comic in high school. A true fan. True fan. I think we're gonna probably just call it a night there. It was about 2 hours. We don't need to... I mean, it's the first day back at work. In quite some time, so it's been a long day. I've actually had to be a productive member of society. Sold it there too, $10. How many copies did you sell? That reminds me, that sounds like me. I had my, like, I remember making, like, shitty comics, because even back then I was really bad, laughably bad at art. I made, like, stick figure, like, comics in, like, grade school, like, really early grade school. And then I had my dad take my copy that I did and take it to his work and have him, like, photocopy a bunch of copies. And then I stapled them together, and then I sold it to, like, kids on the playground for, like, 10 cents or something. Or maybe I was trying to, like, sell it for money, and then I ended up just having to, like, give them out to people. But I had a face like that. It wasn't in high school, though. In high school, I was just ready to get out of school. So what, you just made, like, alternate universe Higurashi stories in high school? Is that what we're doing? Or are we talking about, like, even further crazier? Are we talking, like, a Higurashi OCs? Had a small phase in middle school where you're selling chocolate truffles. Damn, entrepreneurial chat. Doing whatever we can to make some money. That entrepreneurial spirit resides in all of us, just manifests in different ways. So yeah, I'm actually writing a real novel inspired by Higurashi, but more Americanized. Interesting. Interesting. Well, good luck with that. If I was being... I would be like, hey... I don't even know how to word it. It's gonna make me sound like a hater. I was gonna say you should just inspired by Umineko, not Higurashi. But then that's just gonna further imply that I like Umineko a lot more than Higurashi. I don't need to do that. I don't need to put that into the universe. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to do or want to say here before I wrap up shop. I already mentioned the next arc we're reading. We're getting pretty close. I want to say we have this Toki Higushi, which I don't think is super long. We have Connecting Fragments. Don't think that that's super long. And then we have... I think it's one of these two, which is somewhat long. And then the other one is going to go really quick because we technically already read most of it through this. So it's going to just be seeing some new scenes, I think. I think that's how it works. And then we got to read this. And then we got to read this. And then we got to read this. And then we're done. Everything with Higurashi is done. It's happening. We're at the top of the hill and we just need to run down and roll down. By the way, am I playing more Dual, Death Stranding, or Toem? I'm probably playing Death Stranding. I think, yeah. Almost for sure Death Stranding. Toem, probably more Toem on like Friday. Is what we're probably looking. Then I read Syconia, Phase 1. I'm not. It's so funny. I remember talking about drawing hard lines and hard stances. I am not going to start reading Syconia. I will say this. I have more of a chance of playing Silent Hill F in October this year than I do reading the first section of Syconia. And then sitting on my hands like an idiot. I'll say that right now. And I am not a Silent Hills person. I would rather play Silent Hill F than read Syconia. Just Phase 1 for right now. Or whatever's available of Syconia. I don't even know what you call it. Chapter 1, Phase 1, Episode 1. Whatever weird word phrasing he has for it. Not today, Ryukishi. Not today. Also, I gotta be 1,000,000% honest. I've talked about this on the stream. Like, I need some distance. Like, it's all well and good and it's fine and I'm just reading. It's whatever. But I gotta say, by the time this is all said and done, mostly basically 3 years of a lot of stream time has been dedicated to Umineko and now Higurashi, basically. I need some distance from it all. And I don't mean it in necessarily a bad way. It's just, there needs to be some space between me and these characters and this universes and this writing style and everything. There was that one other good visual novel you mentioned, Western? Wait, which one is that? Played Doki Doki? Already have. That's, on the channel if you want to go watch me play Doki Doki, Literature Club. I played the Plus version. That was a couple years ago. The House in Fata Morgana. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, is that Western? Is that its whole deal? I don't know much about it. It is. Okay. All I know is that it's not super long. Like Umineko or Higurashi. It is much more manageable. Excuse me. Western as in not Japanese. No, I got what you mean. Not American Western. No, I kind of realized that's what you're saying. I actually have a really good one called You and Me and Her. What, like a game? Here we go, let me see. You and Me and Her, a love story. A multi-path visual novel from acclaimed developer Nitro Plus. And then right below it, in our visual novels Reddit post, is You and Me and Her any good? Now that I've finished Doki Doki and I'm looking for a new visual novel, I've heard You and Me and Her has some similar themes, gameplay elements to Doki Doki. Is this a visual novel you would recommend without spoiling the game? Okay. It's known as a love letter to the... Okay. Oh, man. Eroge? But if you don't have if you don't have played... Okay. I'm gonna be 1,000,000% honest. Let me pull up the Steam page really quick. You can't see what I'm doing off stream. It says on Steam, a visual novel that pushes the boundaries of the format in unique and stunning ways. It has to be played to be believed. No way. Why would you? Okay, well, that's one way of selling your game. Let's see. The mature content description. Developers describe it like this. Contains mature themes, including violent, strong language. Not suitable for individual... Well, I'm not, I don't want to sound like a hater, but just on first glance, does not look like something I would immediately be drawn to. I'm not saying impossible, but I'm just saying, I don't want to say that I have, like, a much higher taste or threshold. No, that's the thing. I think I have high taste, but I also have a high threshold for stuff. But I don't know. Not for similar reasons, but it's kind of, and this is not meant as shade, but it's like when I was taking recommendations for games just openly on like the YouTube community posts like a while back, maybe at the end of last year or something like that. Or maybe it was a couple months ago. I don't know. Something like that. And someone was like, oh, would you ever want to read, like, Class of, what was it, 97 or something? And I was like, I don't know how to break it to you, but I know of that. That is not for me. That is just not, it's just not happening. I don't want to get your hopes up. Class of '09, is that, what did I say, 97? Class of '09, thank you for correcting me the number. But when someone recommends something like that to me, I'm just like, I don't want to get your hopes up ever thinking I'm ever going to get near that. So I'm just going to tell you now, without getting, anyone, I'm just going to shut it down and say a miracle would have to take place for me to play like that. That's for obviously different reasons than potentially you and me and her as I'm looking. But, I can't, I can't finish Higurashi and then immediately descend into just, for lack of a better term, visual novel slop. Like, I just can't. I would just be like, I can't just be like a pig in a truffle field just being like going to like every visual novel after that. I can't have the damn gates just break open and then just have everything just flood out. That is something I'm not interested in happening. I can say that much. So, again, not to poo-poo the recommendation on something like you and me and her, but just from first glance, maybe it would take more research from me. It doesn't look like something I would naturally lean into. I'm making a lot of hand gestures you can't see, because I don't have camera on or anything. You did play some very experimental stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to make it come across like I'm better than stuff like this necessarily. And I definitely have played some shit, for sure. Some questionable shit even I've done on the channel. But like there's always generally a reason if I'm like wading into those waters, I would say. Like I said, I always appreciate genuine, heartfelt recommendations, even if I have to gently let the person down and be like, hey, that's probably not happening, you know? I'm always down to listening to recommendations. I just have to say, with any recommendations, there's like a very high chance that just never happened for one reason or the next. But yeah. I just always think of... No, do you want to... Who was it? Was it friend of the channel, Colton? I don't think I talked about this. I think I recently got from him that he either played all or played some of Class of '09 and was telling me that it wasn't that bad. And I was like, Colton... I felt like I was judging him quite hard. I think, because anytime I've come across any clip of like that game and that story or the animation, anything, it just falls in line with like the type of humor that just does not jive with me. It's just like, I almost been into humor of like as a kid growing up, Yeah, I totally said something probably along the lines to him. I was like, I cannot believe. I honestly think, like, even as a kid growing up, like, I was never into, like, those more mature, like, animation cartoon shows. Like, think, like, South Park. Like, I remember, like, a big... It sounds dramatic when I put it like this, but, like, me being like, oh... My whole friend group growing up was really into South Park. And even as a kid, I was like, I am not into this. This is not... I don't find this kind of this kind of humor and this kind of thing, like, funny, really. Like, I was such a highbrow kid. I was like, I don't like this. I don't enjoy this. You can't make me like this. Even though I felt like I was an outsider because of that. I was like, I never... And so what I'm saying, why I'm bringing that up, is because I group something like Class of '09 with that just in my head, where I'm like, it feels like it's that type of humor, where I say it as least condescending as I can possibly make it sound like. Like, I just think I'm above that, just on so many levels. I'm just... I have to have some kind of standards that sometimes gets things break through. And yeah, that's... So yeah, Class of '09, you and me and her, probably both not happening on the channel, just for different reasons. Some kind of standards, yeah, yeah, heavy quotes, honestly. Some kind of... There's... I mean, I run a tight ship on this channel, alright? Don't think otherwise. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Wait, what the hell is that? Wait, whoa. What is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang? I didn't play a Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. What is even that? I'm searching my channel. Did I play it in some kind of, like, fugue state? Was it the FMV game? Because that's different. That's like I went in... Or was it a visual novel thing? Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's such a funny... Like, I don't even know... I don't even know where you had gotten that title from. That's funny, though. Here, I'm gonna search Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Let me find what that is. This stream has just devolved into silliness. Yeah, this is a movie with what? Robert Downey Jr. Now I'm really curious what you thought what I did play that. Japanese game that was done on drugs. Oh, Kiss or Kill. Or what was it called? It's something like that. You're actually kind of close then, if that's just title alone. Yeah. Gaijin Chirangi 1, Kiss or Kill. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's Kiss or Kill is close to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's good. That's good. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. But that was a one-off thing, like that, and that's intentional. Like, sometimes you gotta let the barrier down to allow, like, one crazy thing through, you know? Just like when I played, like, Sense 8 on the channel, and that's maybe the worst thing I've actually touched on this channel. Without a doubt. That is my least favorite thing I ever played on this channel. And I did it to the end of the game. It wasn't just one stream. I saw to it to the end. Oh, God. I think they announced a game from that guy recently, right? Wait, a guy from Sense 8? The game Sense 8. Romeo's dead. Huh? Oh, no. Sense 8 isn't... I know what you're thinking. Sense 8 is not... Are you thinking of, like, Killer 7? A different word and then number thing? Sense 8 is different. You're thinking of, like, the grasshopper thing? No, that's... no, Sense 8 is completely different than anything you're thinking. But Romeo is dead, yeah. That looks interesting. And I'm generally pretty positive on Grasshopper Grasshopper Studios? Is that what the games with like Suda 51, Suda 51? I believe you're supposed to say Suda 51, not Suda 51. Or maybe you're supposed to say Suda 51 and everyone says Suda 51. I don't know what it is. It's one of those. No, Sense 8 is a completely different thing I played. It was a really shitty adventure, side-scrolling adventure game thing. What year was that? And now I gotta find it. Jeez. Am I saying Sense 8 and it's not Sense 8 at all? Right? Am I just making up a number? Oh, it's just called Sense. That's maybe maybe part of the confusion is that it doesn't even have 8 in it. It's just called Sense, and then a bunch of shit after. Sense, and then I think it probably written in Japanese, a cyberpunk ghost story. Yeah. Yup. We probably did. Yeah, that thing was bad. That's the worst thing I've ever played on this channel. But I knew what I was getting into when I did that. Okay. I should probably go. Because now this has just been like almost, I think, half an hour of me doing this. So this is all to say the past half hour. Yes, thank you, appreciate it. We're finally, I would say, at the decline of the hill of Higurashi stuff. Death Stranding tomorrow. Toem and Yakuza Kiwami 2 are probably going to be wrapped up probably within the next week. Honestly. The Altars, not going to be played on the channel by me. Not only not played on the channel, not played at all by me. So something else will have to take its place. Will not be reading Seconia until it's completed, which seems like it's going to be never. Not reading To Me and Her and She, or whatever the fuck that thing is called. No offense. I'm giving like the TLDR this whole half hour. And something's got to take the place of what would have been the Altars. Fata Morgana, maybe then. Oh, I do want to say another thing. So I want to try to squeeze in like a couple of like really short games, starting with like Toem, and I wanted to play a game that I played. I've played in my past, but I've never done on the channel. It was back before I was streaming a lot, and I wanted to play it. And then I found out that apparently, even though it's a PS4 game, like a PS4 download game, it has problems running on PS5 to the point where, like, it's called Roundabout, and it's one of my favorite games. Again, played it back before I was streaming. And it's an FMV, like a spoof on FMV games. And it's kind of goofy, it's funny, and it's short. And I wanted to just replay it again. And I thought, oh, it'd be nice to do it on the channel, you know, finally. And, like, it just is not compatible on a PS5 console for whatever reason. To the point where, like, because the whole thing, like, the whole story is told through these, like, very goofy, like, FMV cutscenes. And I don't know why, but they just don't play audio once you get, like, even 10 minutes into the game. It's very awkward. And I'm like, damn, I could just buy it like on PC or something. But then I was like, I don't know if I care that much. But yeah, kind of a bummer. We're talking about games that, you know, it's just funny because that was literally today I found out. Because I think I had heard about it in the past, and then I downloaded it on the console just to see how bad it was this morning, and realized, yep, it's pretty bad. Doesn't work. It's very strange how that can happen. So that's another game that's not playing on the channel. So, The Altars and Syconia, and Roundabout. It's currently 80% off on Steam. Yeah, it's a really cheap game, all things considered. But I'm also like, do I care that much? Probably not. Take this chance of short games to play Case of the Golden Idol. Possible. I mean, the awkwardness is, there's one game still on this channel that has been kind of pushed aside just because I'm heavy into Death Stranding. But I need to get back into Blueprints. Like, I really do. There's clear stuff I need to do and I know I can work on. I'm very interested in doing and seeing more. It's just like I said, it's on a back burner just because of some other games. And I'm wondering at what point am I going to be satisfied with Blueprints. But that's a discussion for another day, I guess. Definitely another day. Okay, let's get out of here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for letting me ramble. I didn't stop the recording during this whole thing, so this awkwardly, this bit is, I'm not gonna edit it out, so it's just gonna live on this. I'm too lazy to cut it off. So anyone who watches this VOD on YouTube, you have an half hour of me rambling about a wide range of topics, maybe things you don't care about, probably. But yeah, we'll just leave it there. So. Back tomorrow night with Death Stranding 2. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. You alright? Thanks for the follow. Earlier. Back with Death Stranding. Have a nice night. Take it easy. Stay safe. Stay well. Till then.